I do really think that they upped the comedy for the last third of the film.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is the best pilot in all of Germany. And then pilot is
Immediately.
dead.
Immediately gets thrown out the window. Hello and welcome to Steam Powered Movies. I'm your host. My name is Mike.
Hello, and my name is Dana Fraedrich. I am a steampunk and fantasy author, an educator, a podcaster, and also the name of the porcupine who donated the spines for my earrings was called Martinique.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
That's it. That's this month's fun fact.
That's a good Dana fact for this month. Also fun for this month, we watched another movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what we do here, this is Steam Powered Movies, where we watch a steampunk or steampunk-esque movie, and then we talk about it.
So in case you're lost, this is where you are.
Yeah. In case you didn't know what you clicked on.
Yep. Look, we're here to help. We're here to provide guidance, some fun commentary on films. It's a lot of stuff.
It's easy to get lost, you know? You click something, 5 seconds later, you don't know what you're doing.
The internet is a big place.
It is a big place. Speaking of big places, a couple announcements to make real quick on the front end here. In all of the big place that's the United States, this month you can find Dana in Columbus, Ohio at the Columbus Book Festival July 12th through 14th. So if you're in the Columbus area, come say hi to Dana July 12th through 14th at the Columbus Book Festival in Ohio.
If you like books, you're going to be real happy.
Yeah. And also, if you like chatting with us and making suggestions, get in the Discord. We've got our own Discord. There's a link to that in the description of this podcast, so check it out.
It's also, there's a link on the website, which is on Words by Dana, and then you just navigate to the podcast tab, and then you can use that link as well.
Or go to steampoweredmovies.com.
We got all the places. We got all the links. Full of links.
And also, this month, we got a movie for you.
Yeah.
We watched The Rocketeer.
From 1991.
Yes, it came out in 1991. It was starring Billy Campbell, Jennifer Connelly, Alan Arkin, Timothy Dalton, and more. Kind of a pretty good cast here.
Mm-hmm.
It was directed by Joe Johnston, who made such films as things you might have heard of, like Captain America: The First Avenger.
Oh my gosh.
October Sky, Jumanji, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, did it? Oh, really?
And Jurassic Park 3. That was his doing.
Wow, some things are really making sense now.
Yep. No.
Oh boy, this dude has a bit of a brand.
He does. And it was scored by James Horner, who also did a lot of classic stuff in the 90s. And it was a Disney film.
Which I'd actually forgotten, but had like a vague recollection of like Disney-ish.
Yeah. Very, very Disney. And this is a rated PG Disney film from the 90s. Classic kid stuff, at least when I was a kid. Very classic. I don't know about for you.
Okay, so like I actually do think I was a child the last time I saw this film.
Yeah.
I remember not liking it a ton when I was a kid, but I also like only liked cartoons when I was a little kid.
Interesting. So you liked maybe like 15 seconds of this movie? That was
Pretty
the cartoon part?
I liked all the zany, like cartoony ones, like inside of the South Seas Club when they're doing the testing and then the ending. So like these sort of three main silly facets. Yeah,
those are like the zany Looney Tunes Animaniacs sequences of this film.
Right up my alley.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what this genre is though really quick.
Yeah. This is maybe steampunk, steampunk adjacent. There's some debate online, but
okay.
What do you think it is?
From my extremely limited knowledge of dieselpunk, which like I've sort of peripherally known for a long time. Like I think the book series that actually got me into steampunk, it's the Kenny J series by Chris Wooding.
Right.
I think it's actually dieselpunk.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm vaguely familiar with the genre, but basically here is the definition. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit me with it.
Dieselpunk is a retro-futuristic subgenre of science fiction similar to steampunk or cyberpunk that combines the aesthetics of the diesel-based technology of the interwar period through to the 1950s with retro-futuristic technology and postmodern sensibilities.
Yeah.
So there we are.
Yeah. No, and I think that fits this film very well.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, interwar period. It tells us the beginning. It's set in 1938 in LA, which is between the wars.
Can I try that again, but like in a more timely voice? You do your line.
Oh, you really like want to redo it?
Yeah.
Oh,
No. I want to like have my request. Yes, you're gonna have to edit this out.
I thought we were leaving this all in.
No, we're not leaving this all in. We'll fix it in post.
Oh no. Now I really want to leave it in.
No. Anyway, no, I want to.
This is the content people are here for.
No. Oh, it's off the rails.
Dana's turning red.
Anyway, I'm just gonna like give us a little more of like a timely accent for that introduction of information. Are you ready?
Okay, try it again.
The year was 1958. Oh, wait. No, it was not. It was not. That's incorrect. The year was 1938 in Los Angeles, Hollywoodland, because it was still called a land back then. And then there was Rocketeers. There was actors. There was pilots. Everybody's trying to get a piece of the moon pie. Sorry.
Wow.
And this is me with zero alcohol. I've not had
goodness.
anything to drink tonight.
Oh my goodness. That was incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
That was very silly.
You have blessed us all with laughter.
Oh my gosh. Have fun.
So yes, this was set in the late 30s, the interwar period.
Mm-hmm.
Diesel-based technology. They say vaguely, oh, it runs on alcohol. You never see them refueling the rocket pack. It never runs out of fuel.
Nope.
So maybe it's magical. I don't know. But
also, what kind of alcohol are we talking? Are we talking like grain alcohol or like rubbing alcohol?
yeah, I don't know.
There's more than one kind of alcohol.
That's a good
Basically, the
question.
kind you want to drink and the kind you definitely don't want to drink.
I mean, you didn't see anyone drinking any alcohol in this movie because it's rated PG.
It's a Disney film, Mike.
Right. Like if this were a different studio, if this was like a Warner Brothers, like maybe even PG Warner Brothers, but PG-13 for sure. It would be like the watering hole would be they're like all drinking drinks and then they pour some moonshine in the thing and that's what makes it work.
Sure.
Yeah.
That checks out.
We got the Disney version.
Yeah. You know, in Disney films, like, I don't think you'll ever see anyone smoking. You might see people drinking, depending on the film and the year it was made, but like never smoking.
No, but you can see them getting shot up by Tommy guns. That's fine.
Yeah, that's totally okay. Seeing like some very like creepy creepersons, like doing their creepy stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Dead body in a trunk.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Totally okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's Disney thumbs up. But, you know, we can't be drinking alcohol.
It is funny the way that Disney is very consistent until they change. And then they're very consistent with their changes until they change again.
Right.
They're like, this is our brand for right now. And then like, as, you know, times and sensibilities change, they're like, and now this is our brand.
Right. Now we're doing princesses.
Yep.
And that's the thing forever.
I mean, princesses is, you know, that's been their bread and butter forever.
Yeah, it has been for a while. Yeah. They've been doing that for a while.
Like even the Jennifer Connelly's character in this, she's a little bit of like a princess, damsel in distress kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. She's still the smartest character in the film.
Oh, 100%. Her, Millie, and Peavy are my favorites.
Oh, yeah. No. I think, yeah, there were a few characters that I latched onto this time around. And you said the last time you saw it, you were like an actual child.
I was a literal child.
I think the last time I saw this, I was maybe in like early high school, middle school. Maybe I rewatched it at some point.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah, it's been like at least 25 years since I've seen this film. And we were talking before and I was like, I'm curious to see if it ages well.
Uh-huh.
And I'm still not sure. There were some fun parts.
Sure.
There were some funny parts.
Uh-huh.
Like we both laughed at some bits.
Oh, yeah.
And some jokes. Most of the notes that I wrote down were just quotes.
Oh, me too. I actually have quite a few.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what we want to talk about otherwise, because like it's genre. It's got the rocket pack.
This is basically a dieselpunk superhero movie.
Yeah.
Except there are actually a couple of things I like about it.
An origin story as well, much like Captain America.
Yeah.
The same director.
What's funny about this is that like it's almost like not even an origin story, but like kind of like a beginning of an origin story, because he never actually gets very good at flying the rocket pack.
Actually, I feel like he gets good at it almost right away.
No, I disagree. He's always like real wobbly in the rocket pack.
I feel like that's just being realistic because it would be a wobbly thing.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
Like he's got the helmet thing, and Peavy is telling him like, "Oh, it's a rudder. It's basic aeronautics." Da da da. Da. Like he's like, "You turn your head and you change direction." Obviously.
Right. You know, not to mention what the weight distribution of the rest of your body is doing.
Oh, you know, who cares? There was a book I read once that
That's
was really
the sci-fi
interesting.
part of this, and the fiction part of the science fiction.
Right. You can just like hold up your. Well, I suppose like okay. So here's what I think the argument is. We're getting very into the weeds here.
Let's do it.
Okay. So here's the thing. If you are flying, there's a book that I read once where the main character, she ends up with wings and she's got to learn to like hold up like basically her lower half. And then actually it was pretty cool. Like they talked about how like her abs got basically the workout of her life because that's what's doing like most of the work as she's like holding up her lower body.
Okay.
For him, however, I do think there's an argument to be made for like the speed at which he's going. That sort of drags his lower body straight through the air. So I think it's kind of okay.
Okay. Sure. We'll go with that.
I'm trying to think through the details. Once again, I might be thinking about it way more than the people who actually made the movie thought about it.
I think you are. Absolutely.
I do this a lot. I know.
They were like, yeah, rocket pack. There'll be hijinks and some jokes.
There you go.
Yeah. And mobsters for some reason.
Oh, no. But okay. Can we talk about the mobsters?
Of course.
Okay.
I think I have the most questions about the mobsters.
No. I ended up being in love with the mobsters. Like at first I thought it was, typical mobsters. Like, hey, it's Eddie Valentine. He's running a racket and he's working for this guy.
Pretty sure that actor was in Goodfellas as well. He was
was he?
the Don in Goodfellas.
Oh, okay.
I'm not looking it up, but I'm pretty sure it's the same character.
Okay.
Actor.
That or all mobsters look the same to you.
Come at me, Italians.
Don't say that.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Don't actually.
You are going to want to edit that out.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, the mobsters.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I love a complicated villain. And I didn't think they were complicated for most of the film until we got to the part.
The very end, you mean?
Yeah.
The part where we looked at each other and laughed?
Yes. Well, like when we got to the part where we're talking about Nazis.
Yeah.
Those dirty, dirty krauts.
Before we get into that too much, I remembered from watching as a kid, I was like, I think the bad guys are Nazis in this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started watching the film, and there was like a brief show of like a Nazi airship, the Luxembourg.
Yeah.
Which
no relation to the Hindenburg.
This
which
is 1 year later.
Up. Oh, was it?
Yes, because I looked it up. The Hindenburg was in 1937, and this is set in 1938.
Okay.
So this is in this
headcanon.
fictional world, they did a do-over.
No. My headcanon is that the Hindenburg didn't happen, and this was the huge Zeppelin disaster.
So you think it's alternate history in that way?
Yes, I think there was a cascade point somewhere very previously, like within the last couple of years. And then this is basically the Hindenburg disaster.
My headcanon was that it was a do-over.
Mm-hmm.
The Hindenburg blew up the year before, and they're like, we can do it better this time.
Oh, okay.
And then at the end of the movie, they talk about, careful about where you're shooting those bullets. You hit that thing's full of hydrogen. It could explode. Like, how would they know that unless the Hindenburg had already happened?
But like no one mentions, oh, hey, remember the Hindenburg?
They don't have to. Everyone just knows. Come on. Oh my gosh. So I remember watching as a kid and thinking, oh, the Nazis are the bad guys. And then brief mention, and then we're watching the film, and it's like Timothy Dalton is this actor in Hollywood, and there's all this stuff. I'm like, I thought the bad guys were Nazis. And then we get to the very end, and it's like, oh, yeah, he's actually a secret Nazi spy.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, oh my gosh, like the thing where he's actually German with a strong German accent, he's like, it was acting.
Right. Incredible.
Just sinking his teeth right into the scenery.
It was that was a great ending to the film. Just
so good.
So much ham. Give me a plate full of ham at the end of a movie like this. That's what I want.
But back to Eddie Valentine.
Yes.
again, I love a complicated
hero.
villain. Eddie Valentine. Yes, he's a gangster, but you know what else he is, Mike?
That
He's a patriot.
you're right, he is.
He's like, I don't make an honest buck, but I'm American through and through.
Yeah.
Eddie Valentine.
Yeah, I wrote down even mobsters are patriotic.
I love that switch so much. And then later on, they even had like the little scene where like Eddie and the Fed are like standing like next to each other, like both fighting the Nazis.
Yeah.
I actually really love that scene.
It was funny. They looked at each other like, oh well.
Yeah.
And the guy that he was standing next to, that he gave that look to, the shorter FBI agent of like the pair of main agents.
I think his name was Wooly.
Willie, I think that's right. Yeah. He was giving me real like Mark Ruffalo energy.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like Mark Ruffalo has played that character like 20 times.
Yeah.
You know, like a cop or a journalist or some kind of guy from the 30s or 20s, you know, who's he's not the main guy, but you know, he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back there. He's part of it. He's just not a main player.
Yeah.
So, no, I really do think that the ending had some really good moments. Like, I feel like the first
Spoilers, by the way. We're fully spoiling.
Yeah, no, we're 1,000%
We're way
gonna spoil
into
this.
it. A too late warning, but yeah, go
Right.
ahead.
So, first half to like 2/3 is like, it's fine. Like, there's some fun parts. There's some like kind of slower parts and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I do really think that they upped the comedy for the last third of the film.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, this is the best pilot in all of Germany. And then like, pilot is dead.
Immediately gets thrown out the window. Well, you know that you say that, I feel like the beginning, like it was front loaded with a lot of jokes too, but that's also where we had some of the most violence.
Oh,
I
that's
think they were
okay.
trying to balance it, like maybe as like a Disney thing. They're like, okay, we're gonna soften all this violence with jokes and comedy,
Right.
So we kind of make it lighthearted. It's not too heavy.
Yeah.
With the fact that we're shooting people and blowing things up.
I do feel like the last third with like all of like this like big action adventure kind of stuff, that's giving me very Avengers vibes.
Yeah.
You know how like all of the Marvel films, like they'll kind of have like, oh, big, punch them up, like blam, 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 punch, punch, punch kind of scenes. And then like witty one-liners kind of interspersed between.
Right.
That is very much what like that final big action scene gave me. Like the front, I feel like, yeah, they were kind of trying to do that, but the jokes just weren't as good.
Mm-hmm.
So, or maybe, I don't know.
I see the beginning though, there were some good ones in the beginning. Near the very beginning was some foreshadowing.
Yeah.
That Peavy threw out there. Because he said, chewing gum ain't going to keep your butt up in the air.
Oh, good
But at the
catch.
end, he uses the chewing gum to patch up the rocket.
Okay, that was a good setup.
Yeah, it was a good setup. The FBI agents, there was something, they were in the car chase shootout with the mobster guy in the beginning. And there was something.
Lenny.
Yeah, they were talking about like their car getting blown up or shot up. Like, oh man, we're going to have to we're blowing the budget again. And when one of the guys just like, the heck with Hoover.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, they do mean J. Edgar Hoover, right?
Yes, of course they mean
he
that.
was the head of the FBI.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Peavy had another good line that I want to use at some point.
What was it?
He said, are your eyes painted on? To Cliff. That's just such a good insult.
He had some of the best lines. Like at the end when they were reading the newspaper about Sinclair dying, like, oh, the wreckage or whatever like fell on his car, and he's like, that's terrible. That was a nice car.
Right. Alan Arkin, man, he kind of stole the show for this movie for me.
I'm telling you, like, I would just watch a film with him. Like, okay, so I'm not the hugest fan of Cliff, our main character. Good old, what's his face? Billy Campbell. Billy Campbell.
He didn't do much after this. I looked at his IMDb.
Oh, he's done loads of like Sci-Fi Channel stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember him from Eureka and the 4400.
Okay. So nothing big, right?
I mean, he's done some voiceover work.
Films, not a lot of films.
Yeah.
Yeah, his character definitely didn't age well from child Mike to adult Mike
Uh-huh.
enjoying the film, because I remember like as a kid being like, oh man, the Rocketeer was awesome and he like saved the day, and I'm watching it now, I'm like, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
He's kind of the worst.
And he's a very bad boyfriend. Jenny, honey, you can do better. You can do so much better.
Were you reading my notes?
I
I wrote, Jenny, you could do better. And then something else happened in the movie, and then I circled an arrow back to that same line again.
Yeah, he's kind of that classic like 90s casual sexism. We're just gonna like disregard our girlfriend and just be like, oh well, but my agenda. But what about me and me and me? Like even when he was like talking about like the possibility of her being hurt or even killed, he made it about him, because he's like, if something happened to you, I would lose my mind.
Right. Oh, at the beginning, he had a line where he was talking to Peavy, and he was like, I can't figure that girl out.
Oh my gosh. I
laughed.
wanted to reach through the screen and just slap him. It's like, honey.
I'm like, what? You can't figure out that she has like her own life and interests and things she wants to do? Besides just like watch you fly planes, maybe you come watch her act or something. Although he then does it in the worst way.
Oh, and he even like dismissed it because he was like, oh, this is acting. Like you're just part of the scenery. But Peavy actually pointed out to him when they're having that whole thing when he's like, I can't figure it out.
No. Peavy was great.
He said, it's her work. Like Peavy, no question. He's just like, yeah, that's her job. Like she's doing her job.
He also said like, if you lose that girl, it's going to be your fault.
Thank you, Peavy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, that's why he was one of the reasons he was the best character by far. I also really liked the Howard Hughes character.
Oh, he was great.
Played by Terry O'Quinn.
Yeah.
Who was John Locke in Lost.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know your face. Why do I know your face? And then I was like, oh, it all makes sense now.
Yeah, whenever he was on screen or when Alan Arkin was on screen, and then they had that little scene together where they were both in the plane and they actually saved the day at the end. Yeah, that was great. But yeah, our guy Cliff, man, he not the brightest, not a good boyfriend. I wrote down at the end, I bet he crashes that new plane.
I think I'm not 100% sure, but do you know what I think that the plane model was?
What's that?
I think it was the Spruce Goose.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure, because the Spruce Goose, in case for anyone who's not aware, was like, if it's not the largest, it was like one of the largest. Although I think at this point, like it's been the largest plane. Although I think they call it a flying boat because it was just enormous, ever built. It was crazy huge.
You talking about the model at the end?
Yeah, the model that like Cliff kind of jumped onto and sailed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a model of the Spruce Goose.
I think that's probably right. Yeah, because Howard Hughes was like, wow, it does fly.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even sure if it was going to work.
I mean, okay, sure.
But the plane I think he's going to crash is the one he got gifted at the end by Howard Hughes, like the new little propeller plane.
It was like a little sporty thing?
Yeah, to replace the one that he crashed in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because he flew too close to the car chase and got it shot up.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what do you think you're going to accomplish? Are you trying to just like get a closer look?
Right.
You can see they're shooting guns.
He's like, oh, what's this?
Yeah. Although I have to say, in regards to like the various plane crashes and things, the gas truck is a good gag. Because like, okay, we crashed into the gas truck the first time. Okay. And I actually wrote down conveniently placed gas truck.
Oh, it's all part of the show, Dana.
Yeah.
It's all part of the show.
Well, that was the first time. The second time, like you see Bigelow say, oh, make sure to park it far away from the runway.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he like specifically mentions it and they still crash into it.
Oh.
It's a really good gag.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Speaking of it's all part of the show, I thought that sequence was kind of hilarious because that just made me think of like back in those days in another time before lawsuits were like really popular.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like the announcer is like, we've gotten an emergency, evacuate. And the guy in charge is like, no, it's fine. It's part of the show. Stay in your seats.
Yeah, please
totally
don't
not
leave.
dangerous.
Don't ask for refunds.
Right. No refunds. You can't sue me if like everything explodes. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. The planes are just going to buzz really close to your heads.
Yeah, this guy's like, oh yeah, we got it all under control. Nothing is under control. Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Also, can we talk about Lothar? He's such a Dick Tracy villain.
Are you reading my notes again?
Oh, are you? Did you write that down
I did. Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like some Dick Tracy villain guy. Yeah.
That is amazing. And like I was never like a Dick Tracy fan.
Me either. I didn't really get into it
but
for
like,
some reason.
I know it got spoofed a lot with all of the crazy villains.
Yeah.
And like I'm pretty sure that like it was kind of like a like the facial prosthetics is kind of what he was working with. Cause I mean I'm guessing he was that tall, whoever the actor was.
Probably.
But like the face, and they did do that thing where like you're a bad guy. So of course like you look really ugly or whatever, which like I don't love, whatever.
Yeah, it's a trope.
It is a trope and it needs to die. But yeah, like he was just like so over the top. Like it was actually kind of these over the top parts that really like made the movie for me. I think I actually would have been pretty bored if they hadn't taken some of these bits up to 11.
Oh, yeah. No, they had to. They spruced it up, you know. You had the scene where the old timers that were telling their war stories got to like scrap with the mobsters. I thought that was cool. And Margot Martindale's character ran the.
Oh, I loved her. That's Millie.
Yeah.
She was great.
I saw her. I was like, wait, is that a young Margot Martindale? And then, yeah, sure enough, it was.
She's great in everything.
She's in a billion things. And yeah, she's always great.
She's fantastic.
What else was it that I had in my notes?
I mean, besides the fact, I have so many notes on how bad a boyfriend he is. Like, okay, he's late. Like, dude, where are your priorities? I don't like Cliff.
Oh, the other thing he did when he showed up at the set, right?
Sure.
And he accidentally like knocks over the wall.
Yeah.
And then he announces who he's with.
Yes.
You don't do that.
I know.
You like hide in a corner and don't like shame your girlfriend for you being the one to ruin everything. That's how you get her fired.
Literally the only response to knocking over a wall on like a live set where you could have killed someone is like, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. I'll see myself out.
Exactly. You just leave. Why would he associate her with him in that moment?
Because he is fully obsessed with himself. Everything is about him.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, but can we also okay, so like I know I'm talking a lot about the villains because like everyone was kind of just over the top in this, but like can we talk about the feds? We are so unconcerned about collateral damage in civilian lives.
Oh, yeah. You mean the scene where they just completely shoot up the house?
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're just gonna like open fire on a civilian's home.
Right.
With like Tommy guns that shoot like 50 rounds in 10 seconds.
Insanity.
I know.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, that was kind of the middle part where it was kind of like, they're chasing him and we don't know who's on whose side or whatever. That was kind of the confusing part. Well, not really confusing, but like kind of lacked direction as far as what
like they
what
were
the
trying
plot
to figure
was doing.
out what they're doing.
Yeah.
But speaking of these feds, there are no police anywhere. Did you notice? There's just like a handful of federal agents, and that is it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no local police.
Actually, no, I take it back. There was one local police car because during the chase scene in the beginning, the black and white in front of us, police car like runs off the road and crashes. That's all we see of the police anywhere.
It's a small town. Maybe that's all they had.
I'm sorry. Did you just say it's a small town about Hollywood?
Where they were in the town at the time. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it really did not feel like Hollywood for a lot of it.
No.
It felt like you were somewhere in the countryside.
I mean, and I know that, Hollywood has built up a lot over the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did feel very like, okay, and now we're in the country part of Hollywood. And now we're in like the city part of Hollywood.
Well, it's just a lawless town. That's what it is.
Yeah. No, there's one police car.
One police car.
That is in the shop.
So let's talk about the Nazis.
Nazis.
And
dirty, dirty crowds.
Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
He plays Sinclair.
So creepy. Does he just carry chloroform on him?
Yeah,
just
why not?
In case you need it.
Sure. Yeah. Timothy Dalton, most famous for playing James Bond.
Sure.
Back in the day. Before this movie.
Yeah.
I know his face a lot because one of my favorite movies is Hot Fuzz.
Oh yeah, he is in that.
I feel like he was kind of playing more of that kind of character in this film.
I know. He does like skeevy, just like such a smarmy bad guy. So good.
Like theatrical villain.
Very theatrical. Yeah. You expect him to just like have a cape and just like whoosh around himself at all times.
Just something about his square jaw and the British accent.
Oh, and like the chin dimple as well.
Yeah, it just like gives that whole vibe.
Yeah. And he looks like he's straight out of the 1930s.
He does. Yeah. And he goes from like charming to like completely like skeevy and disgusting. Like as he's outed as villain.
I don't find him charming at all. Because it's laid on so thick. Like it's so put on. It's like no one actually talks like this, my guy.
Oh, they also completely brush over the fact that he stabs his co-star.
Yeah.
That doesn't even become a plot line. It just happens and then we let it go.
Yep. I mean, I thought we'd kind of already established that he was a bad guy because he's like dealing with mobsters and he like had his like little epee blade and like flicked off the corsage thingy.
Yeah.
Corsage, boutonniere, the little flower that Eddie Valentine was wearing.
I think corsage is correct. But yeah.
I have no idea. And I have an important question about Nazis.
Okay. And then I have an important question, but yours first.
Okay. Do fascists know they're fascists? Because he self-identified as a fascist.
Well, he did, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think some of them are self-aware.
Okay.
Some of them just don't want to admit it.
That's fair.
Some of them know it, but don't want to say it.
Maybe don't know the traits of fascism.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Like book banning. Just saying, people.
My question is, so at the end, we had the final big shoot 'em up battle where we talked about the FBI and the mobsters fighting alongside each other.
Sure.
Against this horde of Nazis.
Yeah, they're just like, we're a bunch of hidden Nazis in the trees.
Were they here the whole time? Did Timothy Dalton's character Sinclair even need the mobsters? Could he just like call the Nazis in?
I don't know, man. I know. Like, did you notice the Nazis only spoke German? Like, he called them out in German. He spoke to all of them in German. Like,
of course.
Would it not maybe have been better to have like, slightly easier to hide people rather than only people who speak German?
No, but no. No. And I actually wrote down that I liked that they didn't subtitle the Germans when they were speaking. It was just like, we're saying German stuff. You get the idea.
Yeah.
You get the energy. No subtitles is not necessary.
Do you notice they also hid an entire Zeppelin? Like no one knows it's there. And then here it comes just like over the top of like wherever they were meeting.
No, we knew it was coming to LA.
Oh, yeah.
In the beginning they said like, when you get to LA, say hello, boys.
Yeah. But like it just comes out from behind the building like it was just there waiting for its dramatic moment.
Hello, friendly Germans with the swastikas. Not intimidating or ominous at all.
Right.
Completely friendly. Say hello. But it did. Yeah, it came up over the trees like, oh, wait, that's here now.
It's almost like the Zeppelin was like, I've been here the whole time.
Wow.
Okay.
Incredible.
Lots of bad German accent tonight.
What do you mean? You mean the best German accents?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I was wondering, though, like with that horde of Nazis, did they even need the mobsters the whole time?
I don't know, dude.
Were the mobsters like supposed in like an earlier version of the story? Did they have their own agenda that they weren't working for Sinclair? That they had their own thing happening?
Oh, no. I think this was all part of a giant complicated plan. Because, okay, so during the Nazi propaganda film that they watched in Howard Hughes' office. So, very clearly they're like, oh, we're going to have these like little jetpack things and we're going to take over the world. Because I don't speak German, but I inferred from like the little tagline at the end is that it said first Europe, then the world.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is very clearly like part of a much larger scheme that Sinclair was part of. And so it like basically our main characters kind of just got enfolded into that larger scheme.
So you think he was trying to infiltrate the mob to control the U.S. from the local mobsters instead of having to like fight the mobsters, just have them like do the work for him?
I mean, certainly use them as pawns.
Right.
Because again, he didn't want to tell Eddie Valentine, Patriot of the Year, that he was a Nazi.
Yeah. But notice that the only murders that we actually saw were done by the Nazis, not by the mobsters. Actually, and by the FBI. Actually, the only killing, because at the very beginning, the FBI shot the gunner that was in the back of the car.
Yeah.
And then it was the Dick Tracy villain guy who
killed Lenny,
folded him in half.
Yeah.
I
take it back. There was one cop in the hospital.
The cop in the hospital?
Yeah, the cop in the hospital who like just looked down for whoever folded Lenny in half and then was like, merp, merp, guess no one's here. So there's like that one guy as well.
Okay. Yeah. They're very background though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the mobsters actually killed anybody.
Hang on. I'm kind of going over to my head.
They threatened. They held the gun up and they're like, oh, we're going to kill her, if you don't hand it over and all this stuff. There was a lot of threatening.
Yeah.
But they're proper Americans.
They did destroy some property though.
Oh, no.
In Millie's cafe.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They knocked the pies over.
How dare you?
Shot the radio.
Yeah. I think Eddie Valentine maybe would not have stood for that. Like, especially if it was apple pie, some American apple pie.
American apple pie.
Yeah, I don't think Eddie Valentine,
to America.
Yeah, I don't think he would have stood for that.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
He was respectable,
Oh, I'm in love with Eddie Valentine. Like, yes, I know he's a mobster, but like that dude has depth. He's got morals. That's right.
Yeah, we need a spin-off.
Like, I do think this is going to be one of those things where he ends up doing like a buddy cop thing with the feds. Like, he's kind of paying off his debt to society by working with the feds. Maybe, I don't know if he's going to turn turncoat on his former associates, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
This is just like a sitcom I'm building in my head. I'm just spitballing here.
Well, maybe, he does some work for the feds and he needs to like go undercover and he needs a female player, for a role in this con that he's doing for the feds.
Sure.
So he calls up Jenny. He's like, oh, I know this actress.
Yeah.
And she's moved on because, she was with Cliff for a while, but, it was kind of like she stuck with him because it was like, oh, I was dating
He did save my life.
I was dating
blah,
the
blah,
quarterback and he like won the state championship. And so he was the coolest thing in town. So like, yeah, I'll stay with him. He's pretty cool. But then like 5 years later, you're like, yeah, he's a deadbeat. So, she's moved on.
Yeah.
And so this is the sequel. It's all about Eddie and Jenny pulling a heist and she like meets somebody better or something. I don't know.
Wait, she doesn't even need a romance. Like, she doesn't need a man.
Or just make some friends, like whatever.
Yeah, I want like her and Millie, her sassy roommate, and Peavy. That's her crew.
Oh yeah, Peavy's the tech guy.
100%.
He's got to like build a contraption.
Yeah.
Or fix the things. The part at the end where he's like,
how do we greenlight this show?
Looking at the schematics while like they're kissing in the background, and he's like talking about all the engineering, and he's like, oh wait, you're not listening. All right, let me find somebody who's interested.
Yeah, he's 100% on my level. I love it.
I like the one little hint. He's like, after I dated this one lady, no one else compared. There was no point in trying after that.
Mm-hmm.
But no details.
Yeah.
Just like, he loved very intensely at one point. And,
he has his memories.
Yep, he has his memories. And now he's just an engineer. Gotta fix stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
This is going to be such a good show.
Hollywood, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Hire us. Hollywood Land.
Yep. We're the ideas people.
What it used to be called before the Nazis blew up the last part of the sign. Yeah. So now it just says Hollywood. There's your alternate history they tried to throw in there.
Yeah.
that was funny,
and they're
too.
like, you know what? We like it better as Hollywood. We're just not going to fix that.
Just don't fix the sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one wanted to climb up the hill. It's hard.
Yeah.
Why would you?
I have to say, speaking of PV, I kind of scoffed at the idea of using the gum at first to like cover up the little bullet hole.
Mm-hmm.
But I've come around on that because PV knows his stuff. PV's a good engineer. Like, because I'd written down that's a lot of faith he's putting in gum. But now I see like PV knows that, in fact, that gum would have been the perfect thing because he's an intelligent person.
Well, he would tell you that, there's a certain chemical reaction. There's a chemical in the gum, right, that interacts with the alcohol. And when it's heated to a certain level,
it fuses.
Then it can, create a solid barrier and seal, and it becomes airtight.
100%.
So, he's got the details down.
Totally. And then, it can also just be peeled away.
But he didn't
Easy.
want to bore you with those details.
Fair.
You
have to know what to cut.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So do you have anything else?
No.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much it that we have for this silly Disney movie from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
We did it.
Yeah.
We watched it. We talked about it.
Oh, wait. Sorry. There is one more thing I want to say.
You have one more thing. Go for it.
I appreciate that Jenny's main move is to hit men over the head with heavy objects. That is the kind of move I can get behind.
It was effective.
Yeah. I mean, if
effective.
it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Do that thing.
All right. I'm ready now.
So now that we did that thing, we talked about
sorry. No, one more thing. I lied. I'm full of lies. So, no, I will say there's one thing that I will give Timothy Dalton / Sinclair.
Okay.
Even though he is such a creep and so just like, oh, he is using his money correctly because he turned the giant bookcase into a secret room. He is using his millions of dollars correctly.
Well, at least he has that going for him.
Yeah, it's like literally the only thing.
Well, now it's a time where we rate the film.
Yep.
Not based on any highfalutin editorial critique sort of criteria. Just some people who watched it and we liked it or didn't. And yeah, we're going to rate it first on how steampunk is this film, and then just how much we enjoyed it.
Dieselpunk is this film.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we'll do that.
Okay.
So how Dieselpunk was this film, Dana?
Okay, I'm going to say 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Sure.
Yeah. Fit the criteria to me.
We read the definition. It definitely fulfills that prompt just perfectly. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how much did you enjoy watching this film now as adult Dana on a scale of 1 to 5 gears?
I have to say, I enjoyed this film much more as an adult than I did as a child.
Oh, interesting.
As a child, I got really bored. But I'm going to give it like a solid 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Like, it had some really fun parts.
It did.
Yeah.
I think that I'm going to rate it on my scale of 1 to 5 top hats.
Mm-hmm.
I also had a good time, and I probably enjoyed it a little bit less this time than when I was a kid.
Sure.
But I'm still going to give it 4.
Okay.
It used to be a 5, and now it's a 4.
Okay.
So for me, yeah, we agree.
Okay.
It was a 4 out of 5 fun time.
Yeah.
And yeah, nothing too problematic after all this time. A couple things.
Oh man, I had visceral reactions to a couple of those really creepy parts.
Yeah.
And like some of those like, oh, just disregard what your girlfriend is saying all the time. Like I had some really strong reactions to those.
But they also didn't really try to make him look good for that. Like he was the hero in the end, but all the stuff in the middle where he's like treating her like crap, he kind of gets called out for.
He does get called out for it, and
there's
do
consequences.
Appreciate that. Yes, no, I appreciate that because it is way better than what some films will do. However, I'm not going to give it a pass just because it's an old film. Like it's still not okay because he's still lauded as a hero by the end. Like, oh, you punch some guys. And by the way, this is still very much a punch your way through life kind of film.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
punch an FBI agent and get away with it kind of film.
Like, good job. You did do some good stuff, but like, it doesn't make it okay. So I can't, like, I'm not going to like give him an excuse because of that.
I like to think that he is only celebrated for a short time and that, PV is the real hero of the town.
PV's 100% the real hero.
Yeah, and Jenny becomes a famous actress, and
becomes independently wealthy.
When I say town, I mean whatever suburb of LA that they're in, because they're not like in downtown LA. They're in some sort of little small outskirts town part. I don't know what it would be back in the days in the 30s that would be outside of town. Still technically LA, but like a small town part of it.
Okay,
that's what I'm going with.
Okay,
That's what we're going to say.
All right.
Well, that was our discussion about The Rocketeer.
Indeed.
We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in next month for another steampunk movie episode. If you want to talk to us or recommend anything, you can get in our Discord, which is in the link in the description of the podcast. You can hit us on Twitter at SteamPoweredPod, on Instagram and Threads at SteamPoweredMovies. You can go to steampoweredmovies.com for list episodes and more information as well. And if you want to see where Dana is going to be next, you can go to wordsbydana.com. Thank you again. We appreciate you. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time. Okay, bye.
Bye.